Hello. In this demonstration video, we will be looking at one of the many features of the Fujitsu ETERNUS storage arrays that provide added benefits in a VMware virtualized environment. In particular, we'll be looking at the ETERNUS vCenter plugin, which allows VMware administrators to do storage management directly from VMware's VMware client. This allows VMware administrators to use the VMware tools rather than learning the Fujitsu Management Console in most of their daily operations. So we'll go ahead and look at the VMware web client with the ETERNUS storage or VMware plugin already installed. If we go to a VMware host under Manage, we'll see a new tab called Fujitsu ETERNUS DX. Under that tab, we can look at our storage views. We can look at the data stores on the ESX host, or we can look at the raw device mapped LUNs. When we look at our data stores, we can go ahead and click on one of our data stores, and that'll bring up a link that shows the underlying LUN. In the past, VMware administrators would have to take that unique ID that VMware assigns to a LUN and trace that back to the storage array, and then look at the management console for the storage array in order to see the storage that is providing that data store. With the Fujitsu plugin, we can click on that link and it will quickly pull up all the detailed information about the underlying storage for that data store. We can see down here all the information about that data store. Over on the right hand side, we have a box that shows system information. This shows us the storage device, its system name, the product name, and even the serial number and current firmware level. It'll also give us a link back to the management URL if we wanted to look at the Fujitsu Management Console. Underneath that, we get information about the storage array, such as the RAID groups and how much of that is currently allocated, and the thin provisioning pools. We'll also get information about the adapters on the storage array and how they're connected to this ESX host. So we can see the fiber channel adapters and which port they're connected to on the storage array. Over on the left-hand side, we get information about the volume that is underlying that data store. We get the name of the volume on the storage array, the type of volume, in this case we're using a flexible tiering volume, and even some information about the pathing policy, and it's showing red here because we're currently using most recently used, but the recommendation would be use round robin on our storage array. Underneath the volume, we get information about the underlying storage. Like I said, this is a flexible tier pool volume, so this shows us the flexible tier pool underneath that volume, and we can see how much of that flexible tier is currently allocated. We can also drill into the subpools. In this case, this is a two-tiered flexible tiering volume, so there's two subpools, one with the RAID 5 and one with the RAID 1 SSDs for the high tier. Underneath there, we'll get information about the RAID groups that make up those pools, and we can even see the performance information. So we can see that that low pool is busy at 100% on the disk drives, and the high pool is not very busy at all. And then down on the bottom, we can get information about the volume itself, the current IOPS on the volume, throughput, and even response time. So you can get very detailed information about how the volume is performing on the storage array that supports this data store. We can also come under the adapter setting here, and you'll see all the host bus adapters on the ESX server. As I said, we're connected through fiber channel, so we can see the fiber channel adapter here and see the storage arrays that it's connected to right now. We can also click down on performance under here and get the entire performance information about the storage array. This will show us all the volumes on the storage array and the current performance for each of the volumes. So again, with the Fujitsu storage plugin, you can easily drill into your data stores and see the underlying storage provided by the Fujitsu storage array. You can get to this information in a couple other manners as well. You can come into here under data stores and click on your data store, and under here you'll see under manage again the Fujitsu tab, and again it'll give us that unique ID which we can click on and get the same information that we got earlier under the details. We could also come into it through a virtual machine. If we go in and click on one of our virtual machines, we would be able to find the same information underneath the virtual machine. In this case, we would look at the hard disk for the virtual machines, and we could click on one of the hard disks and it would pull up another link and give us the same information that we saw earlier. So whichever method that you need to come in and examine the underlying storage, the plugin gives you an easy ability to trace down the storage for your data stores and to see if there's any problems with the performance. We also have the ability with this plugin to create new storage. So if I right-click on one of my ESX hosts, I can come down and see there's this new Fujitsu DX Action tab. Under here, I can do LUN provisioning, and this gives me the ability to create a new data store or raw device mapping device if we want. So this create LUN option here would go up and create a logical volume on the storage array. It would map that logical volume to the ESX host, and then it would leave it so that you could create a raw device map out of it. Or you can use the create data store option here, which will do the same thing, but once it maps it to the ESX server, it will then format it for the VMFS file system and create a data store out of it. So we'll go ahead and create a new data store, and the wizard will go off and show all the storage arrays that we have registered for this plugin. We can see we've got quite a few arrays registered right now. I'll go ahead and select the same array we were looking at. And the wizard will go off and see what paths he can find between the ESX server and the array. All the Fujitsu ETERNUS storage array supports a mixture of paths. You can have fiber channel up to 16 gigabytes. You can have iSCSI up to 10 gigabits. Or you can have fiber channel over Ethernet or SAS connectivity. In this case, the array just has the fiber channel connected, so we'll go ahead and select that path. And then the wizard will come up and pull up a creation for the logical volume. Here we can go ahead and give it a user-friendly name. This name will be used for creating logical volume on the storage array and also be used for the data store name. We can go ahead and give it a capacity. That can be either in megabytes, gigabytes, or terabytes. And we can select whether we want it to be a standard volume or a thin provision volume. We could also select a snap data volume. This would give us the ability to create targets for snapshots on the storage array if we wanted to. And then we can select the number of volumes that we want on any RAID group that's registered for this plugin. Go ahead and select Next. And we'll get information showing what we entered so far. Go ahead and click Add, and he'll go off and create that logical volume and turn it into a data store for us, all directly from the VMware's web client. So it's no longer necessary to learn the ETERNUS management console to do your storage management. You can do it directly from VMware with this vCenter plugin installed. And the vCenter plugin is a free download from the Fujitsu website. You don't have to pay anything extra to use this plugin. So this will just take a minute or so to complete, and then we'll have our new data store that we'd be able to use to start creating virtual machines on. Okay, the wizard's completed. We can see that we've got a new LUN size of 12 gigabytes. Go ahead and click on Finish, and if we go to Data Stores, we can see that we have the new data store. Well, there we go. We can see the new data store created on the storage array. And clicking on the link, we can see the underlying information. And we can see that the volume was created on the RAID group that we specified. So again, using the Fujitsu vCenter plugin, you can easily manage your Fujitsu storage array directly from the VMware's interface rather than learning the Fujitsu ETERNUS management console. Thank you for watching this video.